Well, hello there, and thank you for joining us here at Coolest Life. My name is Tony, and I'm here to give you a different kind of topic. As I'm sure you saw in the caption, it's some of the frustrations, some of the pros and cons that it comes along with full-time RV living. My wife and myself have been full-timers for just over 2 years, and we've seen over half the country. And I want to talk to you a little bit about what we did and some of the trials and tribulations. That sounds religious, doesn't it? Some of the things that we went through and how we overcame some of those things. So stick along with us, because you just entered the Coolest Life, How to RV Lifestyle Edition. So just a little bit about us really quick. So our home base is in Columbus, Georgia. And I say our home base because when we decided to full-time RV, for me, it was a decision about 5 years prior. And we kind of put all of our chips in one basket. Is that right? Eggs in one. Yeah, eggs. Let's go with eggs instead of chips. Put all of our eggs in one basket, and we decided to just go sell the house and everything else. Because you see, a lot of problems that you come up with while you're full-time RVing are expenses, you know. So 5 years prior, I started planning how can we afford this, and the number one way was we needed to sell the house. So that's what we did. So we sold the house, and we got, you know, our house, we had been in it on 11 years. Yeah, our daughter grew up in it, but aside from that, we didn't have any emotional attachment to the house. It was kind of on a hill anyway, so we really didn't like that. You had to drive up the hill, and it was kind of a pain in the butt. And it was in the suburbia. We were 2 miles from local Sam's and Walmart, all that kind of stuff. So it was convenient in that aspect. But we went ahead and went all in. Not having camped, I never RV'd at all as a child. Growing up, maybe it was to the Wabash River in the middle Indiana, central Indiana. So we would spend the night in a small Airstream, but it wasn't really, I wouldn't really say it was camping. It was on a lake, and there was a dock and everything. So it really wasn't get up and set up and all that kind of stuff that we do now. Frustrations. Some of the biggest challenges, and the number one challenge, I will say, the number one challenge is you miss family and friends. You miss family and close friends that you've made throughout the years in a place that, in my case, I had been there 25 years. So I had some serious roots in the community. I joined Masonry. I was in Scottish Rite, York Rite, Shrine. So I was getting to know those people too. And they were a part of my family. So you miss that. You miss that. However, in our case, ours is a 4-year plan. So we're going across the country, basically by time zones. 1 year Eastern, 1 year Central. Now we're about ready to start our Mountain Time Zone leg. We'll be in New Mexico and head on up to South Dakota for the summer. So, and then we're going to head on out west, or should I say further west. So having a plan, planning is your planning level goes up as a full-time RVer. You have to plan and schedule where you're going to be, what time. If not, you're flying by the seat of your pants. And some people enjoy flying by the seat of their pants. And what they end up doing is they end up staying at a Harvest Host, or they go to Walmart's or some places like that. So we decided we kind of didn't want to do that. We bought into a 1,000 Trail system about 4 months after we started our journey. So that really made a huge difference. Now, the pros on that side of traveling is you get to meet new people and you gain new friends, especially when you're like us, work camp, and we've done it 3 times, about to do our 4th time in South Dakota. You get to know a community of people in those RV parks that you're staying at. Not only the people that are transient, that are coming in and out, but a lot of parks have full-time people that live there. And also you get to know employees. So you gain a lot of followers on YouTube. That's always a plus. But you gain a lot of camaraderie and some things like that it's hard to do back at home. As you can, when you're back at home, no matter how big your city is, the areas that you go around, you can only meet so many people. I mean, you're almost capped out. But here, as you go place to place, you're meeting someone new almost every day, and you're developing relationships and possibly even friendships. I definitely developed some friendships down in South Texas and Harlingen, Texas when we were down there, and I hope to do the same thing when we go up north. And I actually have friends I'm still in contact with in that when we were in Florida, several friends that I'm still in contact with through Facebook and other things. You comment on their stuff and they comment on ours. So that is definitely a plus. Some of the other frustrations that we can have is doctors. So you get to know your doctors and the different things that they can do for you and the different specialties, depending on how large your city is. We found in Columbus a lot of the real specialties per people that my wife needed to see were actually in Atlanta. So we had to drive to Atlanta. So that was an hour and a half drive from our place to there. So that was a good distance. But some of the pros that's some of the cons when you travel, I should say. The cons when you travel when it comes to that is not knowing the area, not having a doctor. Of course, if you're like us and you're able to go someplace and stay 3 to 4 months, you can get a different general practitioner or anything like that while you're there locally, which I think I'm actually with VA. And when I go to South Dakota, I'm actually going to move my VA to South Dakota while I'm there. And when I go to stay someplace else, because I'm not all that attached to the VA people in Columbus, Georgia anyway. So it's no big deal. So that can be sometimes a con. Sometimes it could be a pro. For example, my wife went down to Harlingen, Texas, and we found out she was actually getting better care there, as far as the specialist that she sees, than she was in Columbus, Georgia, a community of 200,000 people. And it was just, the bugs are getting me out here. Of course, I'm out here in the woods at this RV park, but, so that can be a con, or that can be a pro. Now we kind of hated to leave there, but we feel that when we go to South Dakota, we're going to, she's going to find her a general practitioner there immediately. Not wait. I think when we were in South Texas, she waited 2 months before she did anything, and we knew we were going to be there 5 months. So that's something you got to take into account. What else? Not knowing the community, not knowing the cities. I will say this: Google Maps helps out a lot. Being able to just pull up in there, I need to find a Walmart, or I need to find a Dollar General store, or pharmacy, or CVS, whatever. Google Maps helps out a lot. It helps get that curve where if we were having to look at maps all the time and hard maps and didn't have electronic services, boy, we'd probably really be in trouble. The different, I'm going to say another pro is this, what's behind me here. I mean, I can't get this in Columbus, Georgia. Actually, if I went up to Pine Mountain, maybe. But for the most part, you can't get this. I mean, this is Lake Medina, or used to be Lake Medina. It's only about 4% capacity now, so they tell me. So, anyway, it's, you see different things. And if you see some of our other travel videos, you saw we found a Stonehenge that's not far from here that we checked out, a place called The Cross at Kerrville, which was pretty cool. There's balloon festivals. Gosh, we did another, when we was there with the eclipse, we did a video that shows a lot of that. So there's a lot of pros to that. Difficulties. This past week, I had a water pump basically break my spinner for my water pump, came off and wouldn't go back on. So I had to buy a new one. So I had to find who would even have those around here. So that's somewhat of a struggle. And if it's something I couldn't do myself, I'd have to find a maintenance guy and have to depend on, well, Google or wherever else of who could possibly do that kind of work. I found a place that would replace the water pump I had, and I actually had to go there twice. The problem is they were 45 miles from where we're at. Well, we're not exactly in town. So those are kind of the trade-offs. Sometimes you can get an RV park in town. Our last one, we were less than 2 miles from a Bass Pro Shops, a Walmart, and a Sam's, and everything else that goes with that, all those restaurants and other shopping areas. And, so they were all right there. So we'd go off property. We could basically ride our bikes if we wanted to. But we could go off property and be someplace pretty quickly. Here, you can't do that. It all depends on what park you're in. So that can be a pro and that can be a con. Depends on what you like. I will say this: I can't hear the interstate from here. I can't hear a busy road. Actually, in the distance, I hear someone's air conditioner, possibly because it's 78 out here and it's a little humid. So, trade-offs. We're not going to be here full time, so the next part may be a little busier. We'll see. So those are some of the trade-offs and some of the things you need to consider when you're traveling, especially if you're considering being full time. And I'm going to do another one on what the perfect rig is, so be looking for that video, because perfect rig for me and perfect rig for you may be two different. And I say rig, I'm talking about truck, motorhome, fifth wheel, travel trailer. Which one's going to be right for you? Maybe it's a C class. We initially wanted to get a C class, but we didn't. We got the Class A instead. It would just run up on a deal, and it was going to work for us. So I don't have any regrets as of yet after 2.5 years. So, but those are some things you should consider, and check out some of our videos that have to do with how-tos as far as the number 2 tank. Yeah, check that one out. But I'll let you go. Be sure to like and subscribe. Send this to your friends who might be considering becoming full-time RVers like we are. I'll let you go. We'll talk at you later. See you on down the road. Because I'm just out here living the coolest life.